Hey, Cyndilu coming at you live from New Zealand with a Be Bold You interview. It's been a little bit, but we are so excited today to have Darci with us with Skin by Darci, and she'll tell you more about that at the end. And before that, we're going to talk about a few of her twists and turns. So if this is your first time listening, Cyndilu, I'm the founder of Be Bold You, where we help you to take life's twists and turns and make them into something beautiful, to break out of your boxes, set those boundaries that are healthy for you, and live life out loud and be bold you. So today I am thrilled to be talking to Darci. As we were talking to one another, getting to know each other a little bit more, we're in a couple of groups together. We found out that we have a lot in common. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today could be a trigger, just so you know. I do want to make that disclaimer. And Darci, can you just share a little bit about who you are and where you live?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm a medical esthetician. I've been doing skin for 22 years. I've been here, I'm really from Minnesota, and that's when my accent comes out when I say Minnesota. But other than that, I don't have that. I don't know why, but it's just crazy. And what else about me? Skin, I've always been into healing and alternative health, and I am really I am a PTSD diagnosed person, and I have a lot of passion for animals, in particular dogs, but also horses that help people move forward, heal. They're very healing.
Yes, absolutely. Can you, when we started talking and you said something about PTSD, and I told you just a little bit of my story, which was, sexual abuse from 3 to 15 by different people. And you were like, oh my gosh, I think I need to tell a little bit of my story. So we're going to dive in just real quick and not really spend a lot of time on it, but also realize that everybody's got a story. Everybody's come from somewhere.
Yep.
And everybody's had things to overcome to become the beautiful person that they are. And so I would love for you to just share a little bit of your story.
Okay. So, as a small child, I had 4 sexual abusers. 2 were men, 2 were women. A babysitter. I am going to say my father was one of them. My mother did not know anything about my abuse until way after the fact. And then my parents were divorced. So, but after even that, my dad we just had a very complex relationship. I loved him so much. And I think he kind of took advantage of that, but he was also very, I think, obsessed with trying to hurt my mother. And so when they got divorced, when they first started the divorce procedure, he kidnapped me and took me to Minnesota and said that I would be shopping for my new school clothes and toothbrush. And I can't remember how old I was. I think I was around 11. So that was kind of traumatizing. But luckily I got away from him. My mom got on the first flight out of Omaha. My stepdad drove, and they got to Minnesota first, where I was being held at a police station like 2 blocks away from my dad. So it was whoever got there first was going to get temporary custody. And luckily my mom got there first. So thank God for that.
How did you end up in the police station? So did you run to the police station?
I was trying, my whole family was in Minnesota, and which is why I can't believe my dad would take me there. But I called my great grandmother. I decided to take my little purse and go for a walk because my dad had hidden all the phone receivers in the house. And so I ended up at this Tom Thumb, which is like a little convenience store, and told them what was happening. And they hid me in the back room until the police came. So it was a day. It was a long day, but luckily I'm so glad my mom got there. It was, I really couldn't believe my dad would do something like that. But I had really mixed emotions about it because I loved him so much. You know, he was really kind to me in many ways, and he had a lot of aspiration that he would love me to fulfill. And um, but then on the other hand, it was a really broken, kind of disgusting feeling I had about him. So, but I mean, I know so many people have been through abuse. I think it's so much more prevalent than we know. And it's not that my story is special. I just want people to know really that you can get past it. And it was several years later. It was actually in 2005, October 2005. Um, my husband and I had bought an acreage out in Missouri Valley, Iowa, and a friend of ours accidentally left our gate open, and two of our boxers were killed. I went. I was. My mom always describes this phone call as like blood curdling screaming. Like I could not stop screaming. She actually thought that my husband was dead because she couldn't understand me. So later, about 30 days later, I had full body pain, had fibromyalgia. I was already presenting like hypothyroid symptoms in my 20s, but everyone just said I was normal, but I was ridiculously fatigued for how young and even as fit as I was. So I
I
think,
do believe that it's our body memories that put us in that place, because I suffered with fibromyalgia and all
mm-hmm,
kinds of fascial pain, and I still do
yeah,
in a lot of times, not every
mm-hmm,
day as much
yep,
as
me
it
too.
was. I found supplements that have really helped, and
Mm-hmm.
thank God, thank
And
God. I mean, I
thank God for
are on.
Aaron has helped me
No,
tremendously.
yeah, yeah, Aaron for sure. As you know, with Aaron, I stopped. I don't know. People don't know Aaron probably. Aaron is the
Fit rocker chick.
rocker chick, and she has this amazing course,
Yes.
Thyroid Jumpstart 2.0. I don't know if she's on
It's
2.0 or more,
yep.
but anyway, Thyroid Jumpstart. Check it out. Check out
Yeah,
um,
Aaron's amazing. Anything
Aaron's
hypothyroid,
amazing.
I would recommend people with
And the
fibro.
thing is, I would also recommend it if you are struggling with um, autoimmune,
Yeah.
anything autoimmune, because
Mm-hmm.
I've never been diagnosed with thyroid, but I took the course because I was struggling with autoimmune issues that were
Yep.
so intense. And as soon as she said, if you have anything autoimmune, I had enough of the symptoms that it made me
Yes.
say, well, I have undiagnosed thyroid issues.
Right.
But as soon as she said, if you have anything that's autoimmune, go off of dairy, go off of gluten, just like
Yes.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And within 2 weeks, my body shrunk by 2 sizes. And I didn't lose any weight. I lost
It
no
was like
weight.
fluid and
It
yes.
was fluid and inflammation. It wasn't even
Yes.
fluid.
It was
Like
like
I would
yes.
lose,
Oh my gosh.
after I had my pacemaker put in, I lost like 16 kg overnight, but that was all fluid.
Okay.
So,
Okay. This was
then I
like
was
toxic load
really
buildup,
toxic load
inflammation.
buildup and inflammation between this. It has to be like just inflammation between the cells where it's just like and
Yes.
everybody looks at me now and they're like, my gosh, you've lost so much weight. And I'm like, I've lost some weight, but I haven't lost
Yeah.
heaps of weight
Mm-hmm.
since.
Yes.
But just the difference of not being inflamed all the time and how
Oh my
much less pain
gosh.
I'm in, even from
And
that. So between the
totally.
supplements that I'm taking, which are different than what she gives you, and
Mm-hmm.
what I've done with diet with what she's teaching me, it's been amazing,
It's amazing. It really is. It's
life
truly,
changing for
it is
both of
life
us.
changing. I know I have gotten better and better and better over I think I've been with her for 3 years, almost 2.5 years. Um, I can't believe how I just realized maybe it was like 2 weeks or 4 weeks ago that I forgot what it was like to have brain fog. And I can't even believe I said that. Like it used to be an everyday thing. And now I'm like, I don't have that anymore, which That's a blessing.
That is
Total
such a
blessing.
blessing.
Yes.
Anybody who's ever had brain fog knows how much of a blessing that is.
Yes.
I am, yes, I'm getting on the other side of my brain fog again because I had a
Yeah.
concussion, and so I've had to
Yes. Right.
work my way back through it. But at least I knew what I could do to do that. So it was
Yes.
been amazing.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
So,
how did you go from? Yeah, go ahead, continue.
so I was just going to say, so after Yogi was killed, that was my boxer, and I had that breakdown. I went into a very deep depression. My only two emotions, I believe, at the time were screaming or crying. And so I ended up pretty much bedridden for 5 years. I had to give up my business. Um, and I never thought I would be able-bodied again. Like my whole body, it felt like someone had beat me with a baseball bat, and like my bones felt separated almost. Like it was so painful to walk, to breathe, just to exist. And the nerve pain in my legs, oh my God, it just makes you crazy. I mean, because it's ongoing. And they told me I would have to be on narcotics for the rest of my life. I went to different pain clinics to see if they could do a block of some sort, but they don't know where it comes from, so they can't block it. And then I started to get better. I was doing like water therapy, physical therapy in like a warm water pool, which is amazing. Like they were doing Pilates with me, weight bearing. It was amazing. So that helped a lot. I just was on so many medications that at that point I had to go to treatment to get off all those meds. I didn't even know what I needed anymore for medication. And I was on so many, there's no way you could do that on your own without, being suicidal. Your body is dependent on that. So I knew I needed to be monitored. Treatment really was one of the biggest blessings in my life. I'm so glad I did it. And then I had an amazing sponsor afterwards that totally saved my life and made me get it together. And she scared me. She knew what I was going to try to do before I even knew I was going to try to do it. So
Wow.
I just started to get better and better, and I was able to go back to work part-time. And so then now here I am so many years later, and I don't have to be on all those meds. I mean, I still take some, but I mean, I think I was on like 30 different things between supplements and meds. So they told me it's going to take a couple of years for your body to like detox all that out. So it's hard to get out of treatment and go home and not be on any kind of medication or be inebriated in some way because you're so used to these chemicals numbing you. So then I started drinking. So then I asked my doctor, I learned about this drug called naltrexone in treatment, and it blocks opioid and alcohol. So you can't get inebriated at all. But I was too afraid to even test it. So I needed something I would be respectfully afraid of. And so I was sober for an entire year. And it helped me relearn everything again. So it's amazing how your body can come back from so much. I wanted to be better so bad. And I think people need hope in that it's possible.
Yeah, to be told that it is absolutely possible and that no matter where you're at right now, and no matter how down or
Mm-hmm.
how out
How
you feel,
bad? Mm-hmm.
I know I was talking to you and telling you a little more of my story where I had 5 years of depression, curled up on the couch. And, I'd
Mm-hmm.
get off the couch long enough to feed my kids dinner. And
Mm-hmm.
then I would get through dinner, I would put them to bed, and I would go back to the couch. And I just was curled up on the couch for almost 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I did find some help and some present-centered therapy that really helped me to come out of that once I realized why I was even there, which is
Mm-hmm.
another whole story we won't go into today. But I'll share it on another of these
Right.
presentations. So tell me how you got from feeling so defeated to now you're helping women every day be more beautiful in what you do.
Um, well, I think a big part of my story is also the fact that after having the diagnosis of PTSD, I didn't really know what that meant other than, I mean, depression or maybe anxiety issues. And so my husband and I had gotten divorced after treatment, which was another blessing for me because it's exactly what I needed to get a grip and like be accountable. And so going on my own, I had my boxer Boogie, and he, I, I think he was the only thing that kept me going because I had to take care of him. And I didn't want to go outside. And it was so irrational to me, but I couldn't force myself to do it. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want people looking at me. I didn't want people to talk to me, but I was forced to go out in my apartment and take him out potty. Like, I wouldn't go to the store if I couldn't take him with me, if the weather was like too crazy and I couldn't have him in the car. Um, I couldn't do anything without him. So now he was with me for so many years and he was like a special needs child. He had some crazy emergency situations, and we joke, he's like our $60,000 boxer, but I'd do it all again. I mean, he was like a godsend for me. And so that's why I'm so passionate about PTSD, and other just people even losing animals, or I mean, it can be just situations like that. Now, my doctors all said that losing my dog being killed was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me, and that's kind of why I mentioned the abuse earlier, because it just was like a buildup and the kidnapping, and then I had a friend that died, and then a friend of mine committed suicide, and so there was just a lot. And I think everything fell into place. It was always a God thing. I mean, I applied for a job that I think they had 4 people apply for, and the only email that went through to have me come in and do an interview, mine was the only one that went through. And so it was like totally meant to be. They needed me just as badly as I needed them. It was right across the street from my apartment. And so I started doing laser. Yeah, I started doing laser again. And I stayed there for about 2 years. And then a client of mine ended up finding or making an opportunity for me at another, which is where I'm at now at Beauty First and Legacy in Omaha, and got us an amazing IPL laser. And so I was able to take a few people with me, and now I just get to help people. Like I don't know. I think it comes very naturally for me. People
I
like to
love
tell
that.
me, people like to tell me their story for sure. So, which is, I'm honored that people trust me, you know.
So as you're working on them, they're telling you their stories. Do you share your story with them ever,
Oh
or
yeah.
share?
I've always
Yeah,
been super open about everything I've been through. I mean, you never know. Even this, like, I didn't think it was going to be something I would mention, but then when you told me your story, I knew that somebody else probably needs to hear this, and realized that, I mean, I never even thought that I was a strong person. And I look back and think of all the things that I've been through, and I am so much stronger than I give myself credit for. I've had to like remake myself, I feel like several times throughout my life. And
yes,
which,
like becoming a butterfly again and again and again and again and
yeah,
again. And each time
yeah.
you're a different version. You're still
Hmm.
yourself, but you're a different
Yes.
version of yourself.
And
And one
everything
of
that, oh, go ahead.
one of the things that I'm getting ready to start talking about a lot on my page and in my membership group is the difference between building a box that feels
Hmm.
like a coffin
Yes.
and being in a chrysalis where
Mm-hmm.
you're using the resistance to break out of that to gain in strength. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I just saw. As you said, I've just become stronger and stronger every time I've remade myself, that,
Mm-hmm.
you've just broken free from that,
Mm-hmm.
that was holding you down.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we think all this stuff is horrible and there's no escape, but
Mm-hmm.
there's always a way to push back and escape. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to give that word to somebody. There's always a way to
Yes.
push back and escape
You
and
have to.
become stronger in. It's the resistance, it's the pushing back that actually
Mm-hmm.
grows your muscles and strengthens you. So when somebody says, you've been through so much and you're such a strong woman, it's like, because I've been through so much,
Mm-hmm.
I'm such
Oh,
a strong woman. If I
I'm so
hadn't been through all
grateful.
that, I would not be standing in the
Exactly.
strength right now.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm grateful. I mean, I wouldn't change anything um, that I have gone through because it has made me who I am. And I love the person I am. I love how sensitive I am. Sometimes being sensitive is a blessing and a curse, but for the most part, I wouldn't want to be any other way. Um, I have a lot of empathy for people, and I get to make them feel good about how they look. And that is huge for me. I mean, it's life changing for anybody. But yeah, so everything ended up being a blessing. Even, losing Yogi, that was probably the biggest blessing in my life because it put me on a different path. And then I had Boogie, and there's so many things that I just would not change.
I love that.
Yeah.
I Your story is inspiring and uplifting.
Oh, thank
And
you.
it's so, we think when we're going through it that it's never going to be something good, that nothing good can possibly come from what we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But somehow the twists and turns can be turned into something so beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I
you, my
mean,
darling, are stunning. My darling, are stunning.
thank you.
So we're coming
Well, I
towards,
think finding mentors is really important too. Like, you
yes,
have to seek out to move forward, you have to seek out people that will push you to your limits and make you, as Aaron instilled in me a few years ago, being uncomfortable is like, that's where you should be.
yes,
If you're uncomfortable, then you're like learning, you're changing, you're evolving.
you're growing, you're becoming
Mm-hmm.
more of who you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I usually ask 10 questions of
Okay.
everybody that comes on my wee show. So, you're ready for my Be Bold Do 10 questions? Because we're coming
Yeah.
to the end of this and we could talk all day, and I'll have you on again sometime. We'll have
Okay.
different subjects that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm totally an introvert, like in the wild. Yeah, I totally am an introvert, but I'm great one-on-one, but with a lot of people, I'm definitely shy, which is so weird. People are like, "No, that's not true." It is, I swear.
What phrase or quote encourages you the most?
Oh, I would say Phoenix from the Flame. It's like
Okay.
more of like a theme in my life.
Rising again.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite. Well, black's not really a color. I mean, it's one of my favorite, and until they make another that's darker, I'm probably gonna love black. But I'd say I really love blue and purple.
Okay. What energizes you?
Being around strong people that are wanting to grow or that push me, that's what is energizing to me.
What has been your favorite age?
40, turning 40. So I'm 44 now. I think
Okay.
turning 40 is like another blessing. Like, I feel you stop, you don't worry about all the things that you worry about in your 20s. Like, if you only knew in your 20s, it's everything's going to work out. You're going to be okay. every year in your 20s, I feel, is like a decade of learning. So I wouldn't want to go through that again in a million years. So 40 is like, I did not think it would be like that. I mean, I just love being in my 40s.
Yeah, I always used to hear people say, life begins at 40. And I'm like, why does it have to wait? I want to start life now. I'm living life now. But it really does change. Just something changes. And it is that letting go of worrying about what other people think or say about us.
Yes.
And it's the beginning of that. And when you hit 50, honey, you let go a whole lot more.
Oh, I bet. Oh, good. I'm so glad.
My girlfriend's hit 60 this year, and she's just like, yeah. No, she's got rainbow colored hair now. And,
oh my gosh.
I'm doing all my colors too now.
Yeah.
They didn't have those colors that much when we were younger, but anyway, it's so fun.
It is fun.
What are you a book reader?
I am, because of Tiffany.
So what book are you reading now?
Well, actually right now we just got done reading Big Magic, and I actually was reading it again because it was so profound. Oh my God. I sent it to so many people from Audible because I felt like every strong woman I know, they need to read this. Like, not that, and men too. I did send it to one man, my friend Brian. But everybody, I mean, it was life-changing for me.
Yeah.
I did not think it would be that profound.
When I first read that book, I think I played it like 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like because it's so, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's absolutely
amazing.
A must read for anybody who has not read Big Magic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
You read it. So good.
Yes.
And I love the way Elizabeth Gilbert writes. I mean,
I know, she's great.
It could be because we're from the same area of the country. We were,
yes,
both from Connecticut.
Yeah, right.
So what's the most exotic place you've ever visited?
I think Jamaica. That's about it.
I've yet to be there. Must go.
It was beautiful.
Do you create to live or live to create?
I live to create.
And name the person name the person who's had the most influence in your life. And they can be dead or alive. But.
Oh my God. I'm going to try not to cry. I'd say probably Erin, honestly. She's just, I just can't tell you how much she has changed my life in so many ways. And I'm so grateful for her because I just didn't even know that I could have a life again.
I love her.
Yeah. Fit rocker chick. Everybody needs some of her.
Fit rocker chick. She's awesome. I totally agree. Totally agree. So what one word describes you best?
Sensitive.
Nice. I love it. The first time I've heard that word used. I love it.
Oh my God, good. Yeah, I'm very sensitive, but I'm glad I am.
Well, Darci, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you all the listeners for joining. And if anybody leaves questions, we'll get back to them. And I'm going to show your Facebook page is facebook.com. I think I spelled it right. Skin by Darci. So you can find her, connect with her, and get to know her more.
Yes.
Thank you for those who are listening to the podcast. Cyndilu signing off from Be Bold You, where we help you to take life's twists and turns, make them into something beautiful so that you can break those boxes open, live your life out loud, and be bold you.